Always the worst part of the job is just to sit down and review a game that didn't go your way. However, I am a journalist. I also am a fan of Fulham. And I have to sort of put the journalism above the fan in this situation. And because you've got to keep your head not hot, which of course it was yesterday. Any person would be upset to concede in the 95th minute of a game they probably should have won. Welcome to the review of the game. Fulham won, West Ham won. We'll use FOTMob to have a look through this game, and we'll talk about my opinion of it. And I want all your comments down below as well. Your thoughts on the game as well. This is for Patreon members and for YouTube as well. So please do get your comments below. West Ham fans, if you're watching, well, what do you think of the result? Did you get away with one? Did you think you deserved the point? Let's get into it. According to FOTMob, Adama Traore was given man of the match, or player of the match, a 7.9 rating. Yeah, he played okay. I think he was the best player on the pitch, but that is FOTMob. Where do we start? I mean, let's start with the lineups. Fulham made 2 changes. In came Yauki Madison and Raul Jimenez for Issa Diop and Rodrigo Muniz. The midfield was the same, and the wingers were the same. The fullbacks were the same, and the keeper was the same. By the way, Anderson and Bassi together were really good. That is the partnership, I think, for going forward. Anderson just brought a level of quality and composure to the game that we've been missing for the first 3 games. So I was really, really pleased to see that. West Ham, when we previewed the game, I went with a lineup where I thought we'd see, Lucas Paquetá play just behind the striker. It ended up not being that way. And Souček played with Rodriguez and Alvarez. And I looked at that midfield and I thought that is far too defensive, far too slow over the midfield. And I think, okay, well, that's good news for Fulham. Now, the reason why Paquetá didn't start, Lopetegui said in the post-match press conference, is because the Paquetá basically got back from Brazil like Thursday night. Then he saw him Friday morning, and that's the day before the game. He just didn't think he was ready to start the game. Fair enough. Let's have a look at the stats. Fulham had the majority of the ball, 54-46. Expected goals 1.54 to West Ham's 0.76. Fulham had 21 shots in the game to West Ham's 11. Only 5 on target for Fulham. West Ham had 3. Big chances. Fulham had 4. West Ham had 1. Again, I don't know if that makes sense. I guess it was the Bowen chance, and then obviously the goal as well. Big chance missed. Fulham 3. West Ham 1. So maybe they are referring to that Bowen chance as well. Fulham had an 80% accurate pass rate, 316 passes. West Ham had 77 accurate passes, 258. And yeah, I think I'll just leave it there in terms of the stats, and we'll get into the opinion of the game. I actually haven't watched the highlights back, but I've seen Fulham's goal back. I've seen, for my sins, Danny Ings' goal back as well, and a couple of other bits and bobs. It was a bit of a strange start to the game. I never felt like any team had the grip on the game for the first 10 to 15 minutes, and then Fulham did start creating a little bit of chances. I do think that having Adama on one side is great because he's got this pace and power. He can power his way through players and really create chances. We've seen that in the previous 3 games. But the link up between Iwobi, Smith Rowe, who then sort of comes to the left-hand side as well, and Robinson is so good. That combination really is good. And I think actually there was times where the 3 players on the near side, on this left-hand side in the first half, were just way too close to each other. And there were these little passes that were going through, but the combinations weren't really working, and we weren't really making any progress. Whereas if you've got like Iwobi like running at a defender, and then you've got Robinson sprinting on the left-hand side, on the outside of him, that's when the chance is going to get created, because then you've got the option of going to Smith Rowe on the inside, and suddenly West Ham are at 6s and 7s. What happened before the goal? There was a chance for Pereira where the shot blocked and Areola easily caught it. And then like literally like a minute before the goal, Jimenez again, there was that like combination. It was all a little bit messy. Then the ball came in the box and Jimenez basically tried to like unconventionally score, and he like tried to flick it and stuff, and Areola saved it. But then Fulham won the ball back quite easily inside our own half. I think it might have been Smith Rowe who made the initial pass to Pereira. No, it can't have been Smith Rowe because, sorry, he was the one running through. So Pereira picks up the ball. He looks up, and there's like loads of space in behind. I don't know where the West Ham defense are. They've just completely switched off. Plays it over the top. Smith Rowe, like even when I looked up, I went, wait, he must be just offside because everyone's just stopped. And then like he keeps the ball in play. I thought the ball was going to go out of play. Just keeps it in play quite easily. And suddenly he's got like this like one-on-one situation running into the box. All happened quite fast. He pulls the ball back and Jimenez finishes it. And I'm like, oh, goal. But I'm looking at the linesman. There's no flag. Looked at the monitor for the replay. And I was like, oh, he could be off here. But he wasn't. He was fine. And like the whole thing just took, I thought there'd be like a little check where the referee would be like, oh, is he fine? And then no, kick off. And Fulham were 1-0 up. And I was like, oh, great. And yeah, from there, like the only chances West Ham had in the first half were like ballooned shots from, I think, Souček, Kudus, and then a header from Souček from a corner. That was it. Maybe Bowen had one as well. But like in terms of like Leno just didn't have to do anything. West Ham was so under par, even on the ball. In fact, we couldn't really let them out of our own half. And when they got into the Fulham half, it was all the way out on the left-hand side with Kudus, and he couldn't really do much with the ball. He couldn't link the play. Antonio actually early on was linking quite well with Bowen. He got a shot away, which was blocked. Antonio looked a little bit dangerous, but West Ham was so below par, and Fulham really had the majority of the play and the chances. I'm just trying to think chances in the second half. Pereira before the end of the first half, Pereira had like 2 or 3 free kicks. One went over, one went more over, and then one hit the wall. But Fulham were good value for the lead at half time. And at half time, I felt as if, we'd been the better team. And West Ham weren't really at it. Sasha Lukic was really impressive. Again, Kim Anderson, brilliant from the back, pinging out balls like we expected. Bassi was holding his own as well against Antonio, which was really good to see. Robinson was fantastic. And Tete was having a good game. Fulham looked really good. And actually, Pereira was better, but not at his best, in my opinion. There were times where Pereira was just giving the ball away far too easily. And he wasn't looking where he was passing. Like, I get it. You want to play that first time ball over the top because it looks nice. But just take a touch and look what's around you, because you're basically playing it onto nobody. No one's running. Iwobi wasn't running. Adama wasn't running. Jimenez wasn't running. So it's a complete waste of possession. Anyway, Smith Rowe was much better, and Marco Silva said after the game that was his best performance so far. Still think he could have played more minutes, but Marco knows best. It's fine. And we got a game on Tuesday, so hopefully I would like to think that Emile Smith Rowe will start against Preston. We'll speak about that tomorrow. Okay, second half starts, and within 18 seconds, Fulham have a chance. And they're just cutting West Ham open. Pereira volleys wide. I almost missed it because you're just getting settled to start the second half. And oh, God. But the problem was West Ham knew they were under par. Lopetegui knew they were under par. And who did they bring on at halftime? Lucas Paquetá and Somerville. And it just struck fear into me. Somerville is so nippy and quick and just a danger man. And we all know what Paquetá can do as well. So from a West Ham point of view in the second half, I was thinking, how on earth are you going to up this? Because you've shown us nothing so far. And I think Bowen was a real live wire. And Bowen was a real live wire right up until the final moments of the game. And that's the reason why they equalised. Well, that's one of the reasons why they equalised. Paquetá had a shot from range, which sailed over. Actually, it was a decent effort, actually. It just went over. And then Bowen had this really big chance. And there was a bit of a scramble in the box. And he came together with Anderson. And most people feel like there should have been a red card for Bowen. Let me take that back. One person I spoke to thought that Bowen should have been sent off, not most people. What I will say is that some people feel like fouls from Alvarez, Rodriguez, and Soler should have been punished a little bit more, especially Soler, who was on a yellow card, and I felt should have maybe got a second booking. Probably. Oh, God, we didn't talk about a big talking point in the first half. Adama Traore going through 15 minutes in and being... Well, Marco Silva said it was a clear penalty. Clearly a penalty for Fulham. This is going to obviously cause debate. From my personal opinion, when I first saw it, I didn't think it was going to be a penalty. And then I watched the replay, and I also didn't feel like it was going to be a penalty. And the reason I say that is because I think in the referee's mind, knowing Adama Traore, knowing his strength and his power and his pace, maybe just goes down too easily. Maybe in the referee's head, he's thinking he's just taking one too many touches there, which he probably did. Then goes down. But there was contact from Kilman, albeit very minimal. And running one-on-one, the referee, Silva made the point that, if you're one-on-one and then you get knocked down, not only is it a penalty, but it's a red card for Max Kilman. Then Silva gets booked for his reaction. I knew I'd missed something out in the first half. That obviously was the main talking point, wasn't it? So, I mean, was it a pen? I'm still not sure, but because Silva's so sure about it, is he sure about it because of the way the result went, and like you look back on that as a big moment? Would he be saying that if Fulham had won 1-0? I'm not sure. I'm playing devil's advocate. Obviously, I wanted it to be a penalty, and obviously, if it was given a penalty, I'd be like, great. Hopefully, we score it. Also worth mentioning, great news that Jimenez scored. Regardless of the result, that will do wonders for his confidence. He played fairly okay, and then Muniz came on as well. So it'll be interesting to see what we do on Tuesday night. Let's talk about. We just mentioned that Bowen chance. We're just going to have to mention, before we mention the goal, massive credit for Reiss Nelson. Came on for 24 minutes and was brilliant. Like, he was so good. I was so impressed. He had energy. He had flair. It was like the shackles were off for Reiss Nelson, and he put in a really good display. And I'm really excited about him for the future now. Now then, we better get onto the goal. 5 minutes of added time. Thinking, okay, heinous, but we could see this out. And in the 3rd minute of added time, Adama Traore had the ball down the right-hand side, who, by the way, looked exhausted. He probably should have been taken off at some point. He just had no energy to run, especially when West Ham were on the attack. And then Nelson makes the run inside the box. And you're really thinking, with Harrison Reed that's come on as well, Harrison Reed has basically come on to see the game out. He's done it before against Leicester, and he'll do it again today. And basically what he does is, Adama, he clips the ball into Nelson, who then, I don't know if that rolled straight through down to Areola or nothing came of the chance, basically. When obviously you just combine with Reed and then have Nelson drop in as well and combine with him and just frustrate West Ham, try and win throw-ins, try and win corners to run down the clock. That's what any other team would do. You're into 92nd, 93rd minute of 5. But no, we try and score another goal, which game management, like usually we're decent at game management in those situations. Against Leicester, we did it very, very well. We've done it previously in the Premier League very well. I just don't see the point of trying to score another goal when you could be susceptible to losing the ball and have it overturned, when you could just try and keep it in the corner. And playing like Adama, no one's going to get close to him. Anyway, mistake number 1. Mistake number 2 comes from, so Areola parries the ball and he rolls it straight out, and I'm thinking, fuck, here we go. Sorry, excuse my language. West Ham are on the break, and I literally had my hands behind my head behind my hands, because I had this really strange feeling something was going to happen late on. Just the way the game had gone, Fulham deserved the win, in my opinion. And the throw-in situation is now where we're going to talk. It looks as if, and I just want to sit on the fence. I don't want to come across as like this bitter. It just looks, and I've seen the replay because someone clipped it for Twitter, like Kudos just kicks the ball off play. Robinson sort of lets it run because he's like, okay, well, that's our throw-in. That's fine. And people have been like, oh, but Robinson should be switched on. I think, like, if you're in added time with 2 minutes to go and you see a ball kicked by a West Ham player go out of play, you're not going to be rushing to take it. You're going to be running down the clock. So in a way, he did the right thing. But what was the wrong thing was that the line note just went like that. There's a West Ham throw. Huh? How's that a West Ham throw? However, I don't know who it was. I think it was Soufal picked up the ball really quickly. And then obviously you take the quick throw in and Robinson's behind the play because the throw in is taken quickly. Bowen, this is an unbelievable bit of play from Bowen. Like, honestly, he makes this chance out of, honestly, next to nothing. Like, on the wing, up against Robinson, or Robinson was just behind him, whatever. And he just wriggles past and he finds a perfect ball to Ings. Oh, God, I can't believe I'm even, like, dissecting this. Like, so frustrating. Ings takes the ball, he takes one touch, and he just powers a shot away, and Leonard just gets a palm to it, and it just squeezes in the bottom corner. Limbs from West Ham were absolutely unbelievable because, I don't think any West Ham fan in that way will say, yeah, we got away with one there. The most frustrating part for me of this is if we'd have won this game and been on 7 points, that would have been really, really positive, because the next 3 games, in my opinion, are, like, even now, like Newcastle, who played today against Wolves, we'll see them later. Forest, who beat Liverpool at Anfield, and then we've got to go to Man City. So if we don't get if you don't get a win from one of those 3 games, or any of those 3 games, then you're going to look back on this and go, God, those 2 points were crucial to drop. But look, there's a lot of talent, Fulham, and I think we'll give Newcastle a game. I think we'll give not the Forest game. I think we'll do something at City that we'll try and stay in the game. I think that's all I want to talk about today in terms of this game. You know what? Like, if I was in the Hammersmith end and that had happened, I don't think I would be in this sort of chipper mood talking about this game. I think I would be so grumpy. However, just because when you talk to other journalists after the game, and they sort of oh, how did Fulham lose that? And you sort of, for the first 10 minutes, I was pretty down in the dumps. But then you listen to Silver, and you realise that you've got a life outside of football, and you can go and see your mates and have a bit of dinner and drinks, and you just sort of forget about it. And actually, usually it's like that happens, and then the next morning I wake up and go, oh, for fuck's sake, I can't believe we just gave that away. But actually, I'm in a fairly decent mood. It might be different for other people. That's fair enough. So just to summarise, Fulham's best performance of the season by far, so far. And annoying we didn't keep a clean sheet and come out with 3 points. If we'd have won this 1-0, I would have sat here and gone, how impressive was that, by the way? But there are a lot of things to look forward to. Smith Rowe just looking really good. Lukic just looking really, really good. Sander Berg, decent when he came on. Reece Nelson looked really good. Muniz and Jimenez now have, a battle, and they'll just push each other on, which is always good to see. Once Muniz gets his first, you'll be like, okay, great. Now we just don't know who we're going to be playing. But Jimenez did very well. Question marks about Leno for the goal? I don't know. I think there were a lot of bodies in the way, maybe. I need to watch it back. Tete, Robinson. Look, Robinson had a good game. Don't take it away from him. One moment you switch off. Yeah, it is what it is. West Ham very under par, but got away with a point. I think West Ham fans are quite frustrated. They don't know what Lopetegui's hasn't figured out their best team yet. Or is I saw a tweet that was oh, Lopetegui's just not playing our best players yet. So that's really frustrating. So look, I would have taken a point before the game, yes, but in the context of the game, a point is gutting, and that is football. However, I did say 1-1 during the week. I'm not happy that I'm correct, though. I'm not happy I'm correct. I thought this would be about 10 minutes, but there was much more to discuss. If I've missed anything out, or you feel like I've done a disservice to the game, I can only apologise. Yeah, I'm not going to rush home and watch the highlights for this one. I'm not going to lie. So I've still got match day to watch, so I'm going to do that right now. And I'm not really looking forward to it at all, really. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for being here. We've hit 600 subscribers on YouTube, so thank you so much. Enjoy this video. For more West Ham fans, then drop it a like and do subscribe if you'd like. I know my Wi-Fi is dropping. I apologise for that. And thank you for your support on Patreon as well. Yesterday was a great day in terms of Patreon. We made some really fun content, and that will continue in the future. Thanks so much for watching. We will speak again tomorrow.